Hello, creators. How are you today? Lovely creators. We're going to test the sound here. Make sure you can hear me. There we go. That's my little test. Make sure I can hear me live. All right, and that means you can hear me. So welcome to the Creators on the Crest Tarot channel and more. I would like to welcome everyone. New subscribers, thank you so much for taking the time to subscribe. I want to remind everybody to hit that notification bell, please. Hit that notification bell. That will make it so you will not miss any readings. And I also would love it if you would tell a friend about my channel, someone that you think would benefit from the energy readings, someone who is into this kind of thing, who could really use some encouragement and some assistance and support in different forms as we do it here on the channel. This channel is dedicated to you as a creator being, and it's meant to uplift and inspire you. Okay. So, yes, we're going to work through some hard energies at times. We're going to talk about what's really going on. But we're also, as creator beings, going to hold a value for our worth as having the power and the integrity to move as a creator in this world. So that requires dedication to oneself, self-love, tenacity, all of the superpowers that are needed in order for us to live our best life and actually thrive in the manner that we deserve. So good morning. My boyfriend's on. Hello. Thank you for joining, sweetie. I know you're busy at work. I know some of you are busy at work and you have to pop on and off, and I understand it is a Friday. Happy Friday to everyone who is in that situation. I bet you are really looking forward to being done with work for the week. So I understand that. I have been there many a time. Okay, so as we do some reminders and housekeeping here, I wanted to give you all the dates. And let me do this real quick. There we go. I wanted to give you all the dates of the upcoming Q&A sessions that I have. So those would be the live events. They last for 1 hour where you can come on and drop a question in the live chat and I give a little mini reading. Now, I will say these sessions are getting kind of busy, so make sure that the earlier you can get there, the quicker you can drop your question in, the better, so that you don't miss out on an opportunity. It has happened where someone's asking a question at the very end and we've run out of time. So our next sessions for that would be Sunday, March 23rd, April 6th, and April 20th. And those are all Sundays, and they're all from 7 to 8 p.m. Central. So March 23rd, April 6th, and April 20th. Mark your calendars, put it down right now in your reminders, 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Get a live mini reading. Now, those readings are for subscribers only, so you do have to be subscribed to the channel. For someone to receive a mini reading, they also need to be in that equal give and take. It's about giving and receiving. I'm going to support you. You support me. This is how we exchange and work. It's in the Norse runes, it's called Gebo, G-E-B-O, the law of Gebo, where it's a nice, even, equal exchange. And we are valuing one another and our time and our experiences. Okay. So please make sure you know that that's subscribers only. I do have Frequency Friday here open to anyone so they can get a feel for who I am and my personality and get to know me, et cetera, et cetera. So that is out there for you. I will be here on Friday, every Friday, unless I have plans, it will be at 10 a.m. Some Fridays it could be later in the afternoon, or I might occasionally have to go live on a Thursday if I have a full booked plan or a vacation on a Friday. So, but I do come to you weekly with these collective readings. And they've been a lot of fun. They've been a lot of fun. They've given everybody an opportunity to kind of get a different take on what the energies might hold for them. I do use timestamps in the description below, so it's very easy, especially on the replay, for you to feel into and find maybe the breakout reading that might matter most to you. And I encourage everyone to use your intuition with that, as to what your intuition says is the best reading for you to listen to. Or maybe there's more than one, or maybe you just like to put it on while you're cleaning the house and listen to everything, and that's great too. So yeah, be sure also, it really supports and helps me if you give my videos that you resonate with a like, and also maybe drop a comment. I know sometimes it's really busy times. You might just drop some emojis in there, or you might have time to write something more meaningful if there was something about the reading that really resonated with you. To all of you that have done that, I just want to extend my unyielding appreciation for you and your engagement in helping me grow this channel and helping me reach more people and helping me be in better service to the creators out there in the world. I think a lot of times we feel very separated from one another. A lot of times we have physical separation. And I know that a lot of people can relate to the feeling of there's no one around me that's like me, right? That's I can talk to, that I can reach out. It's hard sometimes to find that in your local community. So we can really build this online as well. And that's where your help and support and engagement comes in. And I promise you, the way that I set the intentions for my channel, those who are actively and positively engaged, it will come back to you as well. So just know that when you're navigating in these communities where we're supporting one another, we're supporting our evolution, we're supporting our growth, these things come back around for when it's your time to shine. So keep that in mind as well. That's just how these energies work. I'm also going to say I do sign readings on my channel. There's lots of videos, lots of shorts. So every sign in the zodiac gets a reading, usually each week or within every 10 days. So keep your eye out for that. They are also in playlist. Something kind of handy that maybe people don't know is you can look across the top columns in anyone's YouTube channel, and there will be a tab for playlist. So if you're a Libra and you want to go listen to just Libra readings, you can go to my playlist tab, and then you'll see there'll be all the different readings. You go down to Libra and you can play all, and you can just kind of play through those, or you can select them as you want to select them. Some of them from the past have been time related. Maybe by the title it'll say, oh, this is for the next 10 days, or this is for this time frame. However, I still feel that the messages are very valuable and the messages themselves are timeless. So really trust your intuition. Sometimes you might just want to look at the thumbnails and you get a certain vibe by a thumbnail and you're like, I got to listen to that one for some reason. Try to exclude like the timing of the dates, because a lot of times there are valuable timeless messages embedded within each reading. Okay, so have a look at those. There also is a new tab, the podcast channel on YouTube. So YouTube's kind of highlighting podcasts now. So you can go to that section. I have a podcast called Real Life Mages, and I'm actually getting to record another episode this next week. But we have 4 different episodes. They're about a little under an hour each. Really intriguing guests. I interview people. We talk about very interesting spiritual and energetic topics. And so you may want to go in there and have a listen there as well. So I just wanted to mention those things. But I want to now, we're going to shift gears and we're going to go ahead and get into the collective vibe. We're going to get into a little bit of a collective reading here and just kind of set the tone. I'm going to keep my clipboard here because I do need to do the timestamps. Okay, deep breath. And then our breakout sessions today, I will describe after I pull a few cards for the collective. We're going to go with the astrological tendencies that are up right now. We have the I'll just kind of talk through them briefly here, and then we'll get into more. We have a Virgo lunar eclipse. Did anyone see the eclipse last night? I know I did. I had a little bit of trouble falling asleep, and then I realized, oh my gosh, I looked out my window and the moon was being eclipsed. I was like, that's it. And then we have our Venus retrograde going on. We have a Mercury retrograde coming up tomorrow and Pisces Stellium energy. So we're going to get into that. Right now, I'm using the deck called the Sacred Geometry of Activations Oracle. My nose is starting to run. The energies are starting to move here. When my nose starts running and itching, whew, the energies are moving. All right, so for our collective message, ooh, yeah, this is really vibing to me with kind of the Venus energies here. We got number 40, soul time. And let me read what it says here. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge, one that embraces the concept that while the corporeal body, the physical body here, is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. And I think this soul time message for creators is really super duper important. And the reason for that is because when we are connected in with the energies of the soul, with the energies of our limitless self, our multidimensional self, we actually are finding our power there. We're finding our true power as a human. We're finding our power as an individual. We're finding the unique ways that we shine and that we evolve within our lives. They're in that zone of energy. So this soul time, this is the number 40. Some of you may be in your 40s or celebrating a milestone birthday like 40, 45, 50 coming up. And so very happy birthday to you if that's the case. So I'm just going to draw a little connection to that might be an age there for someone of significance. 4 plus 0, of course, just goes down to the number 4 because 0 kind of holds that point, but it also magnifies the energy of the number 4. So when you add a 0 to any number, it 10x's it, right? And on as you add zeros. So here we have the number of stability, the number of security, the number of feeling, what's the word? There's another word coming up. I got stable, I got secure, of feeling centered. Centered is the word that's coming up here. And that number 4 puts us in that energy, and we are being invited to really look at it from the perspective of our soul and really connect in with those energies. With the retrogrades that are going on, it can be, even though you might feel pulled to be in a very active state at times, it can be very helpful with the retrogrades to slow down and do some of the internal soul time work. So that's coming up in the collective as the frequency of soul time for a reason, and I'm really loving that. So yes, it's a concept. We could say it's a theory and we're theorizing, but you get to play. This is a learning environment. This 3D reality on Earth here is a learning environment, and you get to play with different concepts, and you get to play with different theories and thoughts and vibrations, and you get to determine what they mean for you. So don't let anyone else dictate that to you. I'm getting that, to tell some of you that, and you don't have to let someone outside of yourself dictate what you can and cannot learn about. All right. Now over here, we have a similar deck. This is the Sacred Geometry of Relationships Oracle. So I want to go more into what does our creator collective need to know, most importantly need to know about relationship dynamics at this time. So just holding the thought of relationships, maybe some of you have a certain relationship pop into your mind. We got the number 2 card, the second chakra. This is the sacral energy, the vibrating with the color orange. And it says the energy of the sacral chakra helps us to navigate our lives through our emotions and supports our ability to enjoy the sensual world. So, this is important for relationships to maybe carve out some really important time of presence together, even if it's a short amount of time with a friendship, with a romance, maybe with one of your children, carving out some very present connecting time. Now, the sensual energies of the sacral chakra, it's the money, sex, power center, right? So, for some of you, this could mean some juicy, passionate times coming up or in your energies right now that are wanting to be expressed. But sensuality can also be expressed through enjoying healthy foods that we eat. Exercising our body can really kick in those endorphins. Being with a child can really increase the oxytocin levels, and being with their laughter and their play and their personality. So we have an opportunity here right now during this massive astrological transitional time to really go into these energies in our relationships and take a note out of the Taurus notebook. Taurus is connected to this energy of sensuality and warmth and comfort, and having space where you can be in those energies in your life, even in your own relationship to yourself. So, doing something that makes you feel warm and supported and sensual and sexy. And that's a personal journey for everyone as to what that might be. So, those energies are coming up. We have soul time, we have the second chakra energy coming up. And, oh, there we go, releasing. This is the Starry Beginnings Oracle. Now, some of the energies that are going on right now astrologically are really about beginnings and endings, because a lot of the movement is Pisces to Aries, Aries to Pisces, right? It's very interesting dynamic dance going on right now. Pisces is 12th house energy. It completes the zodiac wheel, whereas Aries starts the zodiac wheel with the first house energy. And one of my interview guests on Real Life Mages, Christine Michelle, she is a cusper. So happy birthday, Christine, if you happen to be listening, of the Pisces Aries cusp. And she would always talk about things of like making sure you have the woo and the do. And the woo is the Pisces energy, and the do is the Aries energy. And so that, I think, is just a really cool way to sum up what's going on. But those two being that close together. So you have the spiritual aspects, the emotional aspects of Pisces, and then you have the Aries personality in this world, the go forward kind of energy. And they're very different, but also complementary. So, and you need both. All right, let's get a Starry Beginnings. We got the message. This is another 40 card. So remember, soul time is 40. I knew there was something significant about that number. This is a 40 card too. It's very hard to see the 40, but I promise you it's there. And it says, be, feel, and receive abundance. All that you desire is achievable. Be, feel, and receive abundance. All that you desire is achievable. Two 40s here. Number 40, very important. I'm going to make a little note here. Came up twice, the number 40. Also, if we take 40 plus 40, I know we've got two zeros, but that would reduce to an 8, and 8 is the energy of abundance. So we have some really interesting energies coming up here in the collective with those two number 40s coming up. And then, of course, we got the 2 on the second chakra there. And so 2, 4, 8 is kind of what I'm getting numerologically wise, if you're into numbers, and you can look more into those at your leisure. I'm going to start talking about the breakout session. So we kind of did the collective vibe. We've set the tone here. Soul time. receiving abundance, and the second chakra energies. I'm going to discuss a little bit about these breakout sessions that we're going to do here. So the first breakout that I wanted to do today was what's right on top of us. It's the Virgo lunar eclipse. I think it happened sometime last night in the early hours of the morning. So technically today, technically on the 14th at 2 something in the morning, at least Central Time. But I think I was seeing it at 1 something. I was already seeing the moon eclipsed where I am. So we've got the Virgo lunar eclipse energy. This energy is connected to the South Node. The South Node represents the energy. It's a point in the astrology wheel that represents where we've come from, what we've learned before. And it also represents an area of karma. All right. So knowing also that Virgo, the sign of Virgo, is ruled by 2 things: Mercury, which is the mind, the mental energies. That's the analysis. That's the critical thought that Virgo possesses, but also Chiron, which is a smaller planetary body, but it is known as the wounded healer. So we have both the mental energies and the energies of the wounded healer. And for that Virgo lunar eclipse, we're going to be looking into the health and the physical well-being, which is also a Virgo trait, and the mental energies. So we've got number 1, the Virgo lunar eclipse, South Node. All right. So it was a full moon and a lunar eclipse. And then number 2, we're going to go into the energies of Venus retrograde. Okay, so Venus is retrograding right now. So currently it is in Aries, and it's retrograding from perspective to where we are on the earth. It's retrograding back into Pisces. So we're going from first house energies, Aries, momentum, personality, move forward, be seen, all of that, retrograding, and this is relationship wise, back into Pisces. So Aries is the beginning energy, the first house. Pisces is the 12th house, the ending energy. So we have this dynamic of beginning and then rolling back into endings and then rolling back forward into beginnings again. So for some of you, that's going to express itself in your life. We're also working with fire and water. So it's that connection between the two. I am wearing my Not Today Arya Stark shirt. So might be a little fire and ice kind of energy here. And this is about soul, the soul and relationships. So that's what we're going to get into with Venus. Venus is all about love, relationships, all that juicy stuff, right? Third reading today is going to be on the Mercury retrograde. So everybody usually knows when these are coming. Definitely mental energies. Lots of things can happen with like electronics or cars behaving strangely. Your computer won't load. It's those kinds of things that sometimes happen. Also, plans can be disrupted. We've got that Mercury retrograding tomorrow, the 15th, at 9 degrees of Aries at about 2:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so we're going to get into the Mercury retrograde and get the best messages for that. And then our 4th category is going to be the Pisces Stellium. So I have heard multiple astrologers refer to it as this. I know some astrologers are more picky about what celestial bodies constitute a stellium and what don't, but I'm going to read the positions that are in here. I personally, if you're looking for learning about astrology, it's a lifelong study, much like the tarot, much like many of the esoteric arts. Molly McCord has a great channel. I really like listening to Molly McCord. If you just go onto YouTube, Molly McCord, wonderful. And then for a little bit faster pace, a little bit maybe the younger crowd, Molly's more my generation. I think Gen Xers would really like her, Gen Xers and above. For the younger crowd, Haley Comet Haley Comet Astrology. She's a lot of fun. She gets in there, she's drinking tea, she's having a good time. So if you're looking for some astrology channels that are very complimentary, I would check those two out. But back to the Pisces stellium, we've got the sun in Pisces, we've got Saturn, woohoo, we've got the north node, all right. Remember I said the south node, which is the Virgo lunar eclipse energy. See how all these things are happening right now all at once? They're all butt up against each other, right? The north node would be the direction we're moving, the energies we're moving into collectively. It's where we're meant to grow and evolve toward. So we've got that in Pisces. And then we have Neptune in Pisces, which it's the ruler of Pisces as well. And we've been in Neptune in Pisces since 2011. So you're really encouraged with that reading. We're going to talk about looking back to 2011. Remember what was going on then, right? What was going on in 2011 in your life? Look how far you've come since then. When I think where I was in 2011, oh my goodness, I hadn't even had my kids yet. I had not even had my kids, so I was a completely different person. And I think that's something all of us can look at, whether it's your kids or a signpost for that, or relationships or other happenings in your life. Look how far you've come. Look how much you've transformed as a person since then. Okay, so those are going to be our breakout readings. We're going to start off with the Virgo lunar eclipse. This Virgo lunar eclipse is right upon us. It has just happened. The energies, I'm going to put this over here for a moment and get a sip of coffee here. I got like 3 drinks going. It's so funny. Okay, so the Virgo lunar eclipse, this is in the south node. We're holding, of course, the space and energy of Virgo, what that might mean. And what I'm going to start us off with tarot. And today I have a little bit different deck than I usually use. This is called the Spellcaster's Tarot. It's kind of a fun one with some unique images. So I'm going to do the big shuffle here, y'all, because this deck is nice and bendy. It's very easy for my smaller hands to shuffle. So I like using this one because it's kind of easy to handle compared to some decks. All right, so our creators, I would like to receive the highest and best messages that will assist our creators during this Virgo lunar eclipse and full moon energy in the south node. We're, of course, holding the understanding that the involved planets are Mercury and Chiron. So the thought leader and the wounded healer. All right, what do our creators need to know? I'm going to pull 3 cards here. Wow, wow. Okay, so I'm going to start with the middle card because I think it centers and is going to ground us into these Virgo energies in a very interesting way. And it's the Temperance card. It's the Temperance card. And I'll just show you this particular depiction of the Temperance card here. Is that hat, help me out, the mythology? This is another study I want to get into. The mythos, is that Nike? Nike is not just a shoe you wear, right? Isn't Nike it's like Greek or some other mythos? Since I don't know the specifics, I won't go into that, but I do feel a lot of movement or the desire to move in this card. But the Temperance card is also about patience. This is connected to Sagittarius energy. And I think this has, with the other cards I'm seeing here with this Virgo lunar eclipse, I think it has to do with how we are going to be moving and how we can best move through these energies. So the encouragement I'm getting here is to keep focused on your goals. So what are maybe your top 3 goals in life? Maybe you have a family goal. Maybe you have a monetary goal. Maybe you have a personal growth goal. Okay. Just pick your top 3 and really just work with holding the vision of those. What we don't want to do in this South Node karmic energy is get too stressed out or too forceful about pushing the energies forward here, because the physical body and the mental bodies want to be in balance. Let's not forget, even though I'm on the Virgo lunar eclipse, and what that is teaching us, we do have the Pisces energy going on, lots of emotions too. So how do we ensure the physical and the mental bodies are in balance, are centered? Because I got that centering energy for the collective. And that's the challenge we're up against. That's the eclipse energy here. For the physical body, the card I pulled was the Five of Wands. Now, what's interesting here is you have 5 characters in the card. You have a bee's nest or a hornet's nest. I think it's like a honeybee nest in the trees. And 4 of the individuals in the card are blindfolded and trying to hit the nest. Now, it's probably not a good idea to stir this nest. It's not a good idea to attack this nest. And it seems like one of the individuals over here is like knows that and is kind of laughing at these other people's expense as they probably whack each other with these sticks and also disrupt this nest. All right. So when it comes to the physical body, what this is telling me is that you may feel during this time or during this eclipse, it could be revealing to you some of the energies within your physical body that feel like an uphill battle, or you feel like you've been making progress. Some of you have been detoxing, and maybe you've come up against the next layer of detox, because this is how it works. If anybody has ever done like an organ cleanse or detox, parasitic cleanses, when you start to get into the deeper layers, so you get some of the top layers off and you start to get into the deeper layers of toxins in your body, it can be really challenging. You can hit some things where your body starts having a reaction. So this lunar eclipse is having us put some attention on what's going in, what it feels like as it works its way through our body, and what's coming out. And as I'm talking about this, I have to get a sip of water. I have to drink some water. And maybe all of us need to remember to drink more water. Of course, you'll have to trust yourself and your own nutritionists and healthcare professionals on this. But some of you may have this internal feeling of this Five of Wands, of this battle going on in your body, possibly from foods that are disrupting energies within or certain habits. I also do get a bit of a vibe here with this physical body energy of some people maybe falling into that defeated energy. Like, what's the point? What's the point? This is so uncomfortable. Because remember, right now we're desiring more of the sensual, comfortable energies as was presented in the overall collective reading. And so this discomfort, this imbalance within us can maybe feel more exacerbated during this time, because we do have this eclipse. We have the Virgo energies calling us to put this attention here. Some of you may be wounded in some way. We've got Chiron, also, a ruler of Virgo. We got Mercury and Chiron, and I've been hearing a lot more about Chiron lately affecting the Virgo energies. Some of you may have injuries or woundings that need attention. This could be as simple as, like, for example, I don't know if you can see, I got to go this way and this way. You could see this. I burnt myself with a curling iron the other day. That's a little spot that's quite tender, and I need to maybe put some salve on that. It can be quite a simple thing like that, of putting your attention on your body. There's a lot of different essential oils and things that are great for like bruising. If you have bruising or if you have a cut, just make sure you're tending to these things. Make sure you're tending to the physical body ailments. You may be very tight in one area of your body. You need to stretch it out, drink lots and lots of water to help clear out the energies there. So it's looking a bit chaotic and a bit harsh when it comes to the physical energies. And it seems to be related to clearing and cleansing. Something though, and the nose is running again. So something is really disrupting your natural homeostasis for some of you. You will know who you are, okay? Your issue might be very minor or it might be very major, and you have to determine what that is for you. So there's the physical body. Now remember, we're encouraged to be centered here. We know we want to move forward, but we also want to move forward correctly and in alignment. We don't want to move forward into the hustling energy and then exacerbate our physical body further. For some of you, this is also sleep, getting good sleep. Oh my, yeah. And for some of you, it might be seasonal allergies. We've opened up the house. I get a little bit, you're a little bit itchy. There's a little something blooming outside, right? So that could be the case for some of you. Southern hemisphere, maybe a little bit of hay fever kind of energies going on for you, depending on where you're at, or dust mites. For some of you, I'm getting dust mites. Dust mites are really irritating to some of you. I don't know why I said that, but that's for somebody. All right. And then we're going to go into the mental energies of this Virgo South node. Okay. Remember, the South node is where we're coming from. The lessons that we were in line to learn, right? Or that we have learned, but maybe there's echoes of those coming up during this time when we have the South Node energy. We got the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Swords is a card of stress. And look at the sense of defeat in this character's energy. There's a big sense of defeat here. Maybe for some of you, it's connected to kind of a mind over matter kind of energy relating to your physical health. For others of you, this might be a toxic pattern of overthinking or worrying too much about things. This could also indicate, this Nine of Swords could indicate a bit of grief that is having an impact in the mental. So Elizabeth Kubler-Ross does the stages of grief. If you've never read her book or studied the stages of grief, whether or not you're grieving the loss of a loved one acutely, or it's just grief in general. We grieve all the time. We grieve the old versions of ourselves. That's coming up a lot with the South Node. There's a grief to the old versions, to maybe a grief to, even in that old version, there was this kind of a happy time. There's this kind of a time of where I found joy in something, and I haven't done that in a long time. There could be some nuggets of wisdom within this energy as you look back. But for others of you, it's more, and you will know who you are. If you are an overthinker, if you are a worrier, your mind is stressed. If your mind is stressed, your body is stressed. If your body is stressed, your mind is stressed. That's how it works together. And this Sagittarius, this Nike energy would have us say, hey, let's wait. Before we just fly off and do things, let's wait and really check in with the body. Let's wait and really check in with the mind. Let's pause. Let's see what needs to shift here. Let's see what the right formula is for me before I try to press forward. Okay, and so we're going to get a couple more cards here. I would like to ask here about the Virgo lunar eclipse. When it comes to the mind and the physical body connection, what else do we need to know? How can we bridge not the emotional, maybe that's the answer, emotional. How can we bridge the mental and the physical body. If it's through emotions, the cards will show us. This is a really cute deck called the 5-Cent Tarot. All right, and it'll show us the energies here. How can we bridge the mental and the physical body? We do have some emotions coming up. I think that's why I almost said that with the 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups here says the inner journey. It says introspection, which we've got retrograde energies upon us too, so that's complementary there. For some of us, it means walking away. Now, the reversed energies of the 8 of Cups are avoidance, fear of loss, and escapism. So that could come up as we go more internal. So we say, okay, I'm going to go more internal. I'm going to take a break. There's going to be that tendency to want to check out and veg out and really not stay engaged. But we have to be careful that that doesn't fall into over the line into escapism. So escapism, that's where, you know, maybe you get obsessed with a book or a video game, or you escape into some sort of food, right? These are the kind of things we want to be careful of right now. We have a little crab coming out from under a teacup. This card actually has like a tea. It has spoons, and the teacups are the 8 of Cups in this card. And I think for some of you, it's this feeling, this South Node in Virgo, it's this connected feeling of who spilt my tea, or my tea is spilt, or that was not filling my cup, or I thought that was going to fill my cup and it's not filling my cup. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments here. I'm going to have to leave something behind that maybe I didn't expect to leave behind. For some of you, that could be, oh yeah, it's coming up. That could be a someone for some of you. And it's interesting, for some of you Sagittariuses, I don't know if it's because the Temperance card came up, but I'm getting Sagittarius again. You are maybe being eclipsed right now in the area of relationships. The Sagittarius, or look to your chart, look to the Sagittarius energies. It's a mutable sign. And therefore, there are certain later degrees, 18 to 28 degrees, I think. If you have Sagittarius in your chart, this could be the eclipse energy, really saying this is where you need to look at. So some of you with those Sagittarius placements, or if you're Sagittarius sun, especially sun or Saturn, maybe even in that 18 to 28 degrees Sagittarius, those later degrees, woo. Watch out. You could really be going through something there. So check your charts on that. There are charts you can get free online. I need to get a resource for that because I never have one handy for it. But if you just go free astrology chart, you can put in your birthday and stuff on Google, and you'll be able to get it in a little layout. You just have to know the major placements. It's a whole study you can get into. Now, here's the interesting thing that's popping up in here, because I said, how can we bridge this? So for some of us, there's an emotional component connected to relationships or escapism, something that we're doing. You can escape through other people too. You know how sometimes you'll see a parent like attempt to vicariously live through one of their kids, or a friend trying to vicariously live through another friend's experiences? That's escapism. And that's coming up for some of you. Take a close look at that. It can be real subtle energies there. You have to have your own individuation. You have to have your own dynamics, right? And we can appreciate those things and be inspired by those things in other people, but we've got to do the work for ourselves. So be sure there's not a codependent thread there. If some of you might be dealing with something like that, or you might be witnessing that and seeing it happen in other people, because the people who come to my channel are usually a bit more aware, a bit more on top of things, a bit more walking very mindfully the evolutionary path. So you may see this happening around you. You may see it in a parent with one of your siblings, or you may see this dynamic present itself. Now, this other card in this particular deck happens to be a bonus card, and they're listing it as the 23rd tarot card, and they call it the soul, the beyond. So the soul, which we got soul time in that very initial collective reading today. If you didn't catch that, go back to that timestamp, the collective vibe, the beyond. And it says your inner or your higher being, I want to say inner being, higher being, or greater being, as I like to say, your belief, your soul. And this is how we're going to bridge the energies of the mind and the body, is through the soul. So we've got an emotional element for some people, and then we've got the soul. Now, remember, I was talking about realizing where our power is in that soul energy. The ill-dignified energies of this beyond card are apathy, doubt, and mistrust. So if you're having those elements come up, then there's some clearing that you need to do on the soul level. It might be a good time to, you know what I'm getting for some of you? Have you ever been to a sound healing ceremony? Try to find a sound healing ceremony in your local place that you can go to and physically be. There are anything from like crystal bowls to flute music. If you check out my friend Jessica here on YouTube, the Rune Weaver. So if you cannot get to someplace local, check out the Rune Weaver here on YouTube. Jessica, she lives in the Pacific Northwest. However, so if you're out there, see if you can find her. She does sound healing ceremonies, but she also puts things online that you might really like to enjoy and work through. So, but I feel like it would be best if you got physically present somewhere where you could be at a sound ceremony. Crystal healing bowls, gong baths, G-O-N-G, gongs, those gong baths. If you've ever been to one of those, I know there's a group that travels with the gongs that are attuned to like the different planetary energies. And I think they travel with those huge gongs, and sometimes you'll see at a yoga studio or something, they'll set them all up and you just go and lay down and those vibrations like wash over you. I feel this would be a really helpful way for us as creators to reconnect into the soul energy. And what's that going to do with this Virgo lunar eclipse upon us? It is going to bridge the health and the physical with the mental. So it's the work of the soul here that's really going on. Oh, cool. Okay. One card before we close out this reading, and this comes from the Wild Mystic Oracle. I've been using this a lot lately. I love it. I had to get some more of the black and white vibes for the eclipse here, and this is one of them. Yeah. And this is growth. And these are the little lizards coming up. Grow. Grow. We're going to grow in our mental capacity and opening up our minds, right? We know scientifically it's proven that we don't use all the different aspects of the mind, right? We don't maybe engage in different parts of our brain's energies. We know that when we heal, that neural pathways are reconnecting again, neural pathways that maybe have been damaged by trauma in the past. And so that's the kind of energy I'm getting here. We've got the soul, the physical, and the mental coming together, with the soul being the bridge. So if you imagine, we've got the physical, we've got the mental, and then the tip is the soul. And we're growing into that energy. It's going to expand the mind. It's going to expand the healing capacity of the body. And that's what we're being encouraged to do with this Virgo lunar eclipse. South Node. Wow. Okay. What do I want to do here? I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to put the tarot cards back in. So I'll use this as a reminder to, whether you're watching live or on the replay, please make sure you've liked this video. That really helps me grow. And whether you're live or on the replay, just dropping something in the chat saying hello, or there's little emojis off to the side of the chat bar. You can do a heart, you can do a smiley face, You can do party time. You can do 100, you know, those kinds of things. All of those help increase engagement, and the energies go out into YouTube algorithms for me and attract more creators so that we can continue to strengthen and network. So I would ask everybody, do that please, as a compliment to this channel and what our goal and mission is. Okay, let's get into the Venus retrograde now. So if you were really called to this particular reading, I always have like multiple drinks, y'all. I'm going to get a little sip of celery juice here. Anybody else do celery juice? Acquired taste, but delicious. Yeah, I'm the person with like 3 drinks going at once because sometimes I want caffeine, sometimes I don't, sometimes I want hot, sometimes I want cold. Venus retrograde. Okay, so the Venus retrograde energies, as a recap, as we set the tone for this reading, we are currently, Venus is in Aries. It's going to retrograde, Aries first house. It's going to retrograde back into Pisces 12th house energies on the 27th of March. This is about beginnings and endings. This is the dance of fire and water, fire and ice. As I said, if you're a Game of Thrones person, and relationships, Venus, right? Love, sensuality, relationships. So let's see what we get for our Venus retrograde group here and how these energies might be affecting you. So again, the highest and best messages, we're always asking for the highest and best messages for us and for anyone connected to us. Always, always, always. Even the harder messages can be the highest and best. So we're going to hold that. And honestly, this looks pretty good on the whole. I'm going to start with the middle card again that we got, and we've got the 10 of Cups. So this Venus retrograde back into Pisces is giving us a chance to go back and maybe reflect on our emotions. And in the 10 of Cups cards, throughout the Rider-Waite-Smith versions, there's always a rainbow. Now, I know the rainbow has been taken and is used in certain ways, and maybe in some inverted ways and toxic ways and divisory ways, right? But we're going to go back. We're going to put ourselves into connection with the natural rainbow, the natural light rainbow that forms. You see them in Hawaii a lot. Sometimes you'll see them wherever you live, depending if there's been rain. And that is also the reflection of the prism, right? Rainbows we can see through certain crystals, quartz crystals and things will reflect the prism of light. Roy G. Biv, right? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet here. So we're going to retrograde back through some emotional energies. And with the different frequencies that we see in the rainbow, that's what we're going to be working through emotionally. Now, all in all, we see that this group of 4 here is raising their cups to this experience. So just like it would be if you see a rainbow, being present with the rainbow. I'm also, y'all, I'm working on improving my natural eyesight. So what I've been doing a lot lately is taking off the glasses and letting my eyes strengthen. But it's especially important to do this outside. So if you get the opportunity and you see a rainbow, some of us are in the spring season, there's going to be rain showers, there could be this potential. Really take your contacts out, take your glasses off, and just be present with the rainbow outside, the natural rainbow. Okay. And which of those color vibrational frequencies stands out to you? And for this Venus retrograde that we're going to be going through here, begin to work with those energies. Now, of course, if you're into working with the chakras, there's colors that connect to each of those. So a color of the rainbow may stand out to you, but I feel to be really present with the energies and to raise your cup to the experience. There's also this vibe of like, this is about, much like the Virgo lunar eclipse was saying that the soul was the bridge to the physical and the mental. The soul spark is implied here. We've got the sun symbol coming out of the cups that are being raised. And then on the backs of the capes that they're wearing are the different moon phases. It's kind of hard to see, but we have a full, a dark, a waxing, a waning. Okay. And I like that as our central card here for the Venus retrograde. This is where we can celebrate some of the more positive emotions that we're feeling, or we can shed light on some of the trickier feelings that may come up for us during this retrograde. If you are single, I'm also getting moved to say during this retrograde, like you might have been dating, putting yourself out there in the Aries energy, only to all of a sudden feel like you need to delete the dating profile app, or you need to pull back for a while into your own emotional energies. And this would be why. And that would be appropriate for you to do, because Aries is more of the push forward. Pisces is more of the internal emotional. Let me feel into this before I direct my energy forward again. So for singles, it's okay if you're taking a break right now, or it's okay if you pull back from focusing on that energy. All right. There is a little bit of a caution here, a little bit of a warning, and this would be for singles and couples alike. This Page of Swords comes up, but when we look at this character, the page is like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm smart. I know it all. This kind of reminds me of a 20-something-year-old before their brain is fully formed, late teens, early 20s. I remember myself. I mean, I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew exactly. I moved across the country. I just dove in to a completely unfamiliar experience thinking I knew it all. And I had some powerful lessons and learnings come out of that, right? But there's parts of us that get into this even in later ages. Oh my gosh, did you guys hear that bump? I think it was a bird. I have a picture window out here. I don't think it's harmed because it wasn't that hard of a bump, but it went bump. So this is definitely the bird is flying in, feeling the vibe here. This is getting ahead of yourself, not checking your environment. This is focusing too much on other people. This is the imposter syndrome energy, comparison energy, spying on people on social media, kind of some of that kind of stuff. That would be getting obsessed with like swiping on the dating app, but a little too big for your britches, as my grandpa would say, right? Too cool for school, a little too big for the britches energy. So do not get ahead of yourself. Remember, we're going from Aries, which wants to move forward, back into Pisces. Do not get ahead of yourself. Check this energy. Double check things. When you think you know something here, you're thinking you're feeling something, spend some time with the different frequencies of the rainbow. Spend some time really checking in with the emotional energies. Rest assured, all retrogrades eventually pass. You will get your moment when that Venus goes back into Aries. The Ace of Wands is coming up. We'll get there, but do not get ahead of yourself. Don't get too big for your britches, right? And also don't try to lift too much weight. Don't try to take on too much responsibility. Make sure that things are more balanced at this time with this page. Some of us are still learning that. There's different areas of our lives where we might feel really balanced and other areas where we don't. And so maybe some communication would be important, but it needs to be well thought out. Don't just communicate haphazardly, right? There's a little more thought and feeling and alignment that is being asked of, with the rest assured and the promise that we will be moving again. Do not worry. This Ace of Wands is a go forward, passionate energy. It's Aries energy. We will be in that, but during this time, it's more well advised to spend a little more time emotionally being more present and getting to know yourself better, and maybe growing parts of yourself here that are a little too big for their britches, right? That maybe bit off. For some of you, this is biting off more than you can chew. Or putting an investment. Okay, this is also coming up. Being careful where you invest during this Venus retrograde. Okay, so making wise investments of your time, your energy, your money. This would be the energy of like, oh, I'm just going to sign on that contract right now, not reading the fine print. These are the kind of energies like, whoa, 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 slow down, be more present, feel through it, sleep on it. I know a marketing tactic is to get everyone to rush. Doors are closing, quick close, all of that kind of stuff, right? Cart is closing. I get it. There'll be a time for that. Now is not the best time for that. So just take time back. You're not missing out on anything. Opportunities will come in again as it's appropriate in the energies. Now let's get a few more cards here from the 5-cent tarot for this Virgo retrograde. And I really want to, since Virgo is, not Virgo, oh my gosh, Venus. See how these energies, I really had to write it down because there's so many energies floating around. Venus retrograde from Aries into Pisces. I really want to get into the relationship aspect. So for those of you, when we're talking about whether you're single, whether you're with someone, this could be your relationship to yourself. What are the highest and best messages that will help us navigate this Venus retrograde energy, whoa, as it pertains to our emotions? And Blaze just left to go burrow over on the couch. It's really cute. If he comes back, I'll show you his little shirt that Jason got him. It's really cute. He's a cutie. Okay. For our emotional energies, we got the 6 of Cups. So definitely the Pisces energy coming through here. We have the 2 fish, and it says innocence, reminiscing, and is that it? Playful. Innocence, reminiscing, and being playful. So during the Venus retrograde, raise your hand there to yourself, look in the mirror and say, me, I need to play more. I need to have more fun. I know I do. Okay, this just came up in a reading for me yesterday that I had with my lovely colleague Teresa. Check her out, Your Self Evolved on Instagram. Your Self Evolved. Okay, check her out. Innocence, reminiscing, and playful. I was definitely encouraged to be more in the playful energies. This is gestures of love. Okay, whether it's to yourself, leaving yourself a little love note. Okay, or it's leaving someone else a little love note. You may feel called. Maybe it's bringing flowers home to your lady, right? Maybe it's getting your man that new cologne or that new aftershave, or that, getting him something for himself that, makes him feel good, a new shirt, something like that. There can be gifting implied here. This can also mean possibly like dating yourself, taking yourself on a date, maybe taking yourself on a walk. There's times, we take Blazes on walks, and he knows what I'm saying, don't you? Yeah, you know what it is. But there's times where I like to go by myself, so I don't have any distractions, and I can just have that emotional time with myself. Now, the ill-dignified or the reverse energies are childishness, right? Connected more to this Page of Swords energy. Maybe being overly serious. Hello, that's me. I do that. And independence, in the sense of, I don't need anybody, I don't need relationships, I don't need to connect, right? More of that independent but isolationist kind of energy coming up. So for the Venus retrograde group here, we're being invited to get a little more playful, leave the little love notes, do the little love things, put on your red lipstick, ladies, and put a big kiss on your husband's mirror, right, where he gets ready or whatever, and just leave him a little something. And, thinking of yourself romantically, thinking of your partner romantically. If you're not in a partnership, but you want to be, really thinking like, what would you do? And maybe you actually take those actions. So even if you don't have that person there, maybe you do that little love note, like, to my future partner that I'm manifesting. Leave them a little love note, right? What would you say to them? And then we have here also, and I like this energy because I feel like it's the energy coming up in this reading that's going to ground us in to the challenges of Venus retrograde. Now, I'll mention too, there may be some of you can check it out. Were you born with Venus in retrograde? I was born during a Venus retrograde cycle. This means my intimate relationships in life has been a struggle, okay? Like up until now, where I really finally feel more secure in my own energies, in my partnership and everything, I really struggled with relationships. And it was because I was born under the Venus retrograde. So some of you might have those influences and those transits, or they came up in different times in your life. And you can look to those and see what that was, okay? So that might be the case for some of you. But here, finally, we had to, okay, we're going to breathe. I've really been loving to see this card lately. It's the Ace of Pentacles. In this deck, it's called the Ace of Buttons. But I feel that this is the energy that brings things together. This is the energy that grounds and centers, and it is related to opportunity, fertility and abundance, and prosperity. All right, and this is what it looks like. We've got a little rabbit. Got a little rabbit kind of stretching like the front and back part of the body there. For some of us, getting into this grounded space in relationships or in relationship kind of energy during this Aries, Pisces, fire, water dynamic, it's changing over on March 27th. So you all will be feeling it at different times and phases. Many of you may already be feeling this energy. It may be a bit of a stretch to feel more grounded, so you may have to put more effort toward it. The ill-dignified energies of the ace here are warning, scarcity, and possibly a lost opportunity. Now, be careful with that lost opportunity because we're also in the energy, right? And this is where these retrogrades get tricky. We're in the energy of like, don't rush it, read the fine print, don't get into the fear of missing out. But we also have that energy that would be like, I'm going to lose the opportunity. But remember, that's an ill-dignified energy. So when one opportunity passes us by, another opportunity opens up. And that's what the ace reminds us of. And it helps remind us to ground into our presence, to our patience, to our bodies. All right. The pentacles represent the earth energy. So it's kind of saying, hey, fire, hey, water, all this craziness back and forth here. No, we're going to ground. So you earth signs might have a little bit better opportunity with this. You might have a little bit better chance of making this happen. And or look in your chart where you have the Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn energies and use that to help you ground and center. That is going to be so important, but it's also going to be a stretch. Look at this rabbit here getting stretched like it's a little accordion like this. It's going to be a little bit of a stretch. But why? We're growing. We're growing. We already learned the growth importance in that Virgo lunar eclipse, right? The importance of bringing together the physical body and the mental body. And here we have the Venus energies, a lot of emotions going on with Pisces. We're going to get a card from the Wild Mystic Oracle to close off this particular breakout session here. Ooh, and I just got all down the right side. I just got these tingle feelings. So I don't know. This is maybe a little bit in the masculine energy, a little bit in the Aries energy, possibly. We got fear, shark, like a great white shark. I saw on like, I don't know if it's Prime or Netflix or Hulu. I don't know which one. They have some new thing coming up where like people are injured on the ocean and these great whites are like stalking them. I don't know why, like Sharknado, people are like obsessed with that stuff. I don't know who watches it. Tell me if you do. No judgment, but is it really that good? Like, what is it about like being afraid that people are obsessed with being afraid? Or fear is where the comfort level is. Fear is where the comfort level is. But when I look back to what the Virgo lunar eclipse was teaching us, look at these two triangles. Growth goes on an upward. Fear goes on a downward. Whether you're looking at triangles, spirals, we want to be in the growth energy. And the Venus retrograde here is saying, guess what though? You got to go into the depths of the ocean of your own emotions here, back into Pisces. We're not letting you proceed with this fear. This fear is something that needs to be released. For some of you, it's the fear of, will I ever be strong enough? Will I ever be ready enough? Will I ever be? Will I ever be? Will I ever be? And the doubt that comes into the energies with that. This is normal to feel though during Aries to Pisces retrograding Venus energies, right? The fear of, I'll never find someone. I'll never find my person. Or the fear of, I always attract a predator. I always attract a narcissist. That's what we got to stop. We're going to look at the beautiful natural rainbows. We're going to take our glasses off. We're going to let our natural eyes connect with the vibrations of the colors. We're going to take the contacts out, the glasses off. This is one way we naturally heal our vision for those of us who have vision issues. And we're going to go deeper into those energies. We're going to see what colors vibe with us. And believe me, there are so many different forms of color therapy. Some of you may want to explore that a little bit. That's going to help us navigate through whatever that underlying fear might be. Okay. Woo! Shoo. How about that one, huh? Venus retrograde. Yeah. You know, for me in my chart, since I was born in a Venus under a Venus retrograde, some of these energies are, I'm more familiar with the struggle of these energies during the Venus retrograde. But for some of you who you were not born under that kind of a retrograde, you may not have had such experience in your life yet in this particular dynamic. So it could really throw you off. You're just being reminded with that Ace of Pentacles to ground in. I really liked seeing that there, and I think that one's really important. Okay. Now, let me get the timestamp. 11:53. We got the Mercury retrograde up next. Remember, now, guess what? This is at 9 degrees Aries tomorrow. So we've got the Aries energy again, 2:45 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, so that's under 24 hours away, this Mercury retrograde. If you're anything like me, you have already been feeling it or had things come up. Teresa's here. Hi, Teresa. Thank you for joining. Teresa and I had some things come up, interestingly enough, earlier in the week where we were going to meet for something and we had to reschedule. So those retrograde energies already affect us. Now what we're doing is adapting and overcoming. We're rescheduling. Okay. So be okay with the reschedules during this time. Be okay that things might not work out as planned or how you had them in your mind. You might have had things a certain way, certain numbers that you're focused on that turn out to be something different. But what I want to encourage everybody with this one is, with this Mercury retrograde, is that everything that doesn't happen the way you planned just means that the universe is rearranging things to happen even better. Okay. You may not see it now. You may not see it tomorrow. You may not even see it at all during this retrograde period. But down the road, there will be reason and confirmation as to why something might not have worked out during this time. All right. And again, it can be arranged depending on all our personal charts and our personal astrology. We could have very little kind of things happen, you know, like maybe just our toaster goes on the fritz and we have to get a new one, you know, or we have to like upgrade our security software on our computer, or we forget a password, right? To more major things like a car breaks down, or, you know, you have to replace a refrigerator, like a major appliance, something that is outdated, that can't move forward in these energies. Those kinds of things can happen, and it's how we roll with the punches. It's how we adapt and overcome. Ooh, some really interesting energies. Again, some of these energies are overlapping because we had the Eight of Cups come out in the last reading, and we're having it come out again here. We've got 2 8s and a 9. So 889. I want to mention that for those of you who are into the numbers. And 8 being the number of prosperity and abundance, 9 being the number of figuring out how to fit things together, that inner wisdom that becomes applied in the world here. But yeah, we have some contrasting energies here with the Mercury retrograde. We've got the physical energies, we've got the emotional energies, and we've got the passions. Okay, so I'm going to start us off in the middle again here with the Eight of Pentacles. This Mercury retrograde may have a lot to do with work or ventures of building something, putting something together, creating security, attention to detail. During this Mercury retrograde, it may be hard. Even that home project that you've been wanting to do during this time might be a little hard to get going, or it might just take more focus and more attention and your ultimate presence with it. So I know for me, we're getting ready to paint my daughter's room. I've been getting ready to paint her room for so long. Okay. I have the paint, I have everything. We just have to, we are also having a garage sale. So we're getting things cleared out. We're doing the spring cleaning. She had a lot of toys and stuff. She's kind of reaching that point where the toys are becoming less important now, and she's kind of growing into a big girl, right? And to try to get in that room and just be present and focus on the actual job of painting has been so hard. And I think we have some more challenges coming up with it, but 8 being a number of abundance would encourage us to keep at it, be present, but keep at it, because this will pay off. It will provide. We're right here. He's providing shelter for these little animals here. So doing the gestures of work out of love and protection. If you're in a work environment or a workspace where that is not the case, which I know a lot of you are in very stressful work environments, this could represent, during the Mercury retrograde, protect yourself a little bit more. CYA, cover your ass. So before you hit click on that email, make sure you know it's not, maybe don't reply to all. We've seen this happen before where people reply to all instead of just to the sender when they meant it, and they kind of hot-headed or whatever. They're in that Aries energy, the Mercury retrograde. This is people who watch out for people driving work equipment. Don't be in a rush with that. Be watching. You know, when you see somebody driving all haphazard, you want to be behind and away from them if you can. Get away from people like that on the road. Those pop off kind of energies, the road rager kind of things. Be extra careful when you're driving. Physical world things with this Eight of Pentacles showing up. Then we have the Eight of Cups again. So yeah, we're going to be feeling a certain way about these things that happen. So I'm talking about having a full meltdown when the toaster goes on the fritz, okay? Instead of just saying, you know what, Amazon Prime days are coming up, I can replace the toaster. It'll be okay, right? This Eight of Cups energy would, in this particular deck too, it's kind of giving me that sense of giving up. Giving up. What's the point? The toaster broke. What else is going to happen to get me down, right? It's kind of that energy of like, no matter what I do, I can't move forward. And that's an energy we have to be careful of. We have to remember that in these times of the Eight of Cups, where we have that kind of energy come up, it's an opportunity. Now, we may not be able to force things forward during the retrograde. It may go a little slower. We may have to sit with some of these emotions a little bit longer than we want to. But there's something that's going to happen here during this Mercury retrograde. And I want to get into this next energies here with the Nine of Wands that's coming up. The Nine of Wands is especially in this deck, this is like a caged animal, okay? In most decks, I might see this as a more cautious energy. In this deck, I see it as a caged animal. A defensive, cautious, reactive kind of energy here. Now, at the end of the day in life, most times we put ourselves in our own cages. Since this is Wands energy, transformation, fire, passion, this would be the energies that we begin to feel, the frustration, feeling a bit temperamental, feeling those Aries energies of kind of popping off with anger because we're not living in alignment with what we're meant to do. That cages us, that traps us in certain energies. Now, remember the 9, it's about analyzing and figuring things out, right? It's about that inner wisdom. So we need to drop that 9th wand and relax into some more grounded energies. Maybe when we get in that place of feeling super frustrated, the toaster is on the fritz, it burns, I can't make my toast, I can't make my avocado toast, I'm so upset, right? Into the world, because it's going to feel that way. It's going to feel that way with the retrograde going on. Remember, this Mercury retrograde is overlapping with the Venus retrograde, so it's going to feel extra. It's going to feel extra. That's the time where we have to really say, let me drop this wand for a moment. Let me reevaluate. Let me order things a little more rationally. That's what the 9 would do. That's what the Hermit would do, would become more introspective, okay? And that's where these Virgo energies can benefit us. What have we made the mistake of doing in the past, South Node Virgo, that we could do differently now? So you may feel a bit of this, and it could literally be that something technologically speaking or electronics wise actually makes you feel this way, right? So you're going along, you're doing something, you try to post your video to YouTube, and all of a sudden it's on the fritz. I had something happen the other day where I posted my Cancer reading, and then Jason was watching it, popped up for him, and he's like, I can't like it. It's giving me a message. Caller does not have permission. Weird. It's never happened before. It's happened to other people though. So you go online, you find the Reddit threads, and they're like, what do you do? What is this? And it like resolved itself. But one of the things I noticed was there were Apple updates for all the devices. Most of the apps on my phone needed updating. Not YouTube though. It was weird. I don't know where that came from. It's just kind of this random thing, right? But I could get really angry about it, be like, oh, people are trying to watch my video and like it, and now they can't like it. This is going to affect my numbers. I could get really upset, right? And irrational. And I have, right? I'm human, just like you. We all get in these places. Or I can just research it a little bit, right? I can go into that 9 energy. I drop the 1 and I say, okay, what is this? How interesting. Oh, yeah, that Mercury retrograde hits tomorrow, by the way. That could be what this is here. That could be what this is. So yeah, this Mercury retrograde, the Aries energy has us a little bit more fiery, a little bit more reactive. So we're going to have to learn in those times. We're going to have to, right now, as you're listening to this reading, plant a little seed in your mind of like, oh yeah, that might be why I'm feeling this way. I'm going to be with my emotions. I'm going to be with my feelings, but I'm going to do so in a bit of a decompressed manner. I'm going to drop this wand. And so that way I don't take out these energies in inappropriate ways around me, right? And you're going to also be watching for these energies as you're out and about in public, because remember, not everybody out there is in their creator being mindset, and they're going to be popping off on the road, in the grocery store, somebody like banging somebody with their cart. It's that kind of energy, the Black Friday crazed lunatic people, right? Oh, yes. There we go. We got the Hermit. I'm not surprised this comes up. This really helps This is the major arcana energy to this 9. So we have the Hermit, number 9 here. The Hermit is about self-discovery. Who am I when I'm angry? Who am I when I can't do something that I really want to do? Maybe I need some alone time. Maybe I need some soul searching time. Maybe I need to take that walk by myself. If I don't, or if I do that in an unhealthy manner, like isolation, withdrawing, and really getting trapped in the isolation, loneliness energies, that could be destructive. So the Hermit comes in and says, be sure you're in the dignified energies here with the Hermit. You may need to ask the people around you for a little extra time and space. You may need to communicate that. Some of you, if fishing is relaxing for you, maybe you don't even catch fish, but you just go out on a boat and float or whatever. That could be the case for some of you here with this particular Hermit, because I am seeing fishing being implied here. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is where, okay, so now we're getting some help here with this poppy Aries energy that is seductive and is kind of trying to get under our skin here with different things that may come up. Remember, it's about adapting and overcoming, adapting and overcoming. And if you feel those pop off hot emotions about it, that's okay. Those are emotions that inform us in a certain way. The sooner you can get a little solitude, not isolation, but solitude, to kind of be and work it out, walk it out, run it out, lift it out with weights, whatever you need to do, that would be helpful. Because remember, Virgo energy is connected to the Hermit, is connected to the physical well-being as well. So that's going to help. You can channel that down into the earth through your physical body. The emotions come up, they're affecting you, they're raising your heart rate, your blood pressure, right? You're going to channel it down into the ground during this time, your Hermit time. And then we got the Queen of Pentacles. This is about providing, it's about caregiving, and it's about practicality. But it is not a forceful energy. Again, the earth energies are coming in and saying, hey, we can be of assistance. Utilize the earth energies, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, to ground some of these pop-off emotions and fiery energies into the earth, right? And we have kangaroo here. And I really like that, because kangaroos, when they're still, when they're in a stillness, they're cute and gentle and, maybe in a playful place with their little joeys and whatnot, right? But when they hop and they kick, it's so powerful, right? But it's calculated as well. It's timed. The reversed energies for the kangaroo, which I love in this deck, it gives us little words for this: self-preserving, and I get that. Sometimes we need to be in that state. Pretentious and entitlement. So that can be the ill-dignified energies. I guess those are the enemies of the Queen of Pentacles, okay? Would be entitlement, pretentiousness, and self-preserving energy. So when we're in the ill-dignified energies of that Queen, that would take us out of our service role of what we're called to do, right? Now, when we're in the dignified energies, this would be where we communicate in a healthy manner. We take that caregiver energy and we say, I need to take care of myself right now. I need to provide for myself so I can diffuse these energies that have captured me, triggered me, activated me. I'm going to diffuse those. I'm going to take the time so that I can come back and be in that beautiful service role to others that I love to embody. The Queen of Pentacles, she is patient in her dignified energy. She is calm. She is kind. She's not rushing. All right. So it's a really nice balance if you're working with the energies correctly. Again, I am called, though, to tell you, watch out for people that have no clue about anything that I'm talking about today, and do not let them get to you. Okay. Do not let them impact you, and get as far away from them as you can if humanly possible, right? I'm talking about being in public situations being on the road, driving, and just seeing haphazard, wonky behavior, stay away from that during this time, especially during this time. All right, let's get a card from the Wild Mystic Oracle to close off this reading, and then we'll get into our final reading. Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. So, kind of going along with the higher energies of the Queen of Pentacles, we got the koala bear. Oh, I love this. Koalas are hugs. This is like a big hug, and this is a protection card. Very earthly, grounded energy. Remember, I think in one of the readings, this came up recently, and I was talking about eucalyptus being very clearing and having this very cleansing effect. And when you get yourself cleared out and you get your body cleared out, which when you get into that hermit time, you get into that Virgo energy where you're taking care of your body and your wellness, your health and wellness is important. When you get into that vibe, it could be really good during this retrograde with all these extra stresses coming up, and it can help protect you. It's going to help protect your heart. It's going to help protect the energies that you nurture with, your caregiving energies of the Queen of Pentacles. Like, I definitely feel a connection in these cards. This is kind of the mama bear energy, right? It's kind of that protection energy. But men need hugs too. The masculine needs to be embraced too. Remember, I felt that down the right side of my body. I was feeling that feeling before. The masculine also needs attention here with this. And I'd also like to mention that my final word about protection is the more your heart is open to Creator, to the higher force, to your inner wisdom, to love and the pure energies of the universe that are in alignment, the more protected you are. Your heart has to first be open to those things, though. And just because you have an open heart doesn't mean you have a bleeding heart, okay? It's not the wearing your heart on your sleeve and the inappropriate emotional outbursts. This is more about an embodied emotional balance, an open heart that trusts itself. And so that's the energy of protection there. And we got our cute koalas. And I'm just wishing you all, for those of you who are huggers, a big virtual hug to you. For those of you who like boundaries with that, you do not have to accept that. I am not extending that over your boundaries. So to those who want a virtual hug, you got it. To those who do not, I respect that completely too, because we all have different tolerance levels with that, right? Okay. Oh my goodness. How are we into the final reading here? Let me grab the timestamp. The Pisces Stellium, endings and beginnings, cycles, and we've got the Sun, Saturn, North Node, and Neptune. Neptune since 2011, all in Pisces. Oh my goodness, what in the world? Let's check it out. Let's get some guidance for my Pisces Stellium group. Be sure to check your charts where you have Pisces, 12th house energies. Sun, Saturn, North Node, and Neptune. Okay. Oh my goodness. There are definitely some overlapping energies. I think this is kind of helpful though. I really like how the energies are overlapping. This is the third time that the Eight of Cups has come up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Eight of Cups has come up again. The third time in these breakout readings. So when it comes to the Pisces energy, remember we know that Venus is retrograding into Pisces. We have this stellium right now, Sun, Saturn, North Node, and Neptune. Neptune since 2011, the end of a big cycle of Neptune and Pisces. This is the final decisions that we make about the emotional triggers and energies that we have, about the healings that we're doing upon ourselves. Many of us will be changing the way we emotionally relate to ourselves. We're changing the stories that are triggered by the emotional energies. All right? Nothing's ever working out for me. This is too good to be true. I can't trust myself. I always make the wrong decision. I always get myself in these messes. February is always a bad month for me. September is always a horrible month for me. I've heard people say all kinds of things like this. My birthday feels bad to me every year. I've never had a good birthday. I never will. All right. These kind of voices and energies within us, this Pisces stellium is saying we're bringing that cycle to an end. So we need to replace those voices, those emotional voices, with new energies. And this could mean new friend groups. This could mean new levels of support in community and small groups and counseling and things like that. You have to make the steps. You have to take the steps for yourself. You have to be willing to say, yep, I do that. I do that. I have that story. I have that emotional story. And I got to do something about it because it's not serving me. It's not helping me grow. It's not helping me protect myself. It's not empowering me. 8 of Cups is a walking away and a letting go. And some of you have that decision to make. And let's get in the energy of you are going to reflect on that for yourself. You are going to emotionally connect with what that is, right? You're going to figure out what the story is connected to that, and you're going to begin to work on it. When you do so, here's what's waiting for you. Here's where these Pisces energies really help us open up because they bring that completion. We got the 3 of Wands and we have the Falcon trainer here. This is an energy of freedom. This is an energy of being more involved in the things that move you forward. What you're passionate about, not what someone else has told you to be. This is you connecting in with nature and having a great passion for being outdoors, for working with winged creatures, perhaps some of you. Bird watching might be the case. So we're thinking about bird watching, hiking, being in nature, listening to the songs of the birds. Some of you may have a bird as a pet, right? And thinking about falcons and eagles and hawks and what those represent to us and how we can connect with those energies. The Pisces energy connects heaven and earth. So the big birds, and I know Pisces represented by fish, but I always sense those birds that can see from that higher vantage point. They have the eagle eye view of things. That's what I feel like is being gained when you're willing to work through and allow the endings of some of these emotional energies and stories connected to whatever it is you're dealing with. Now, I know some of you are carrying a lot of PTSD, in some cases, complex PTSD from childhood. So this may feel bigger to you than it might to somebody who's dealing maybe with a little less triggered emotional energy. All right. So be prepared for that. The more time you do get out in nature to clear your head, to clear out some of those emotions, I feel like wind energy is important for some of you, which here in the Northern Hemisphere, springtime, there's usually a lot of wind. The air is clearing for you. That would be helpful. So working with the bird energy, working with the clearing of the wind, the air energy, letting that blow through, the air element, helping you during Pisces season, the way the air moves ripples across the water, the way you see the air affect the water is important. We're supposed to be learning. We've got Saturn and Pisces here. So these are supposed to be kind of our big lessons, our learning lessons. And Saturn's not going to let us in this cycle without learning something. So the more open you are to experiencing what are my stories and what do I need to let go of, the more movement you will be able to have. And you've got the Chariot here. This is Cancer energy. It's cardinal energy. So coming out of some of these Pisces Stelliums, Pisces Stellium energies, Sun, Saturn, North Node. North Node is where we're moving to. This depiction of the Chariot card here is North Node energy. What we're moving into, the lotus flower, grace unfolding, enjoying beauty in life, freedom. Remember, I got freedom in this card too. Pardon me. We've got a horse here drawing the Chariot. Truth, freedom, what carries us forward, how we're going to grow. This is a number 7 card. It implicates momentum. A lot of release happening around this. Got to get a little more celery juice there. But yes, this is going to be the feeling of the new beginning. So we have the ending, what we're letting go of, what we're walking away from, the freedom that we're gaining, the natural connection. Nature is oh so healing. And we spend so much time here in front of screens. Being out in nature, oh, so healing. It's time for that. Also, a reminder, knowing how far you've come, how painstakingly every petal of this lotus opened, right? Slowly. Sometimes with help from the natural elements and sometimes not, but it has opened. You have opened, you have grown since 2011. That's where that Neptune and Pisces energy comes in. Look back to that year, to 2011. Look back in your photo memories. What was going on? Where were you at? And look what a different person you are today. How much you've evolved. Let's get a couple more cards from the 5-cent tarot here for you. Again, some more overlapping energy, I think, with the Virgo lunar eclipse here. The South Node and the North Node, really seeing the difference, seeing how far you've come. You get the 9 of Swords. So our Pisces Stellium group, who is really feeling that energy. And we have what appears to be like a sloth here. Hopelessness, possibly anxiety and anguish. But that's upright for the 9 of Swords. So the 9 of Swords is that stress in the mind. But if we look at it in reverse, this is one of the cards where when it's upright, the importance of understanding hopelessness, anxiety, and anguish, and understanding what that feels like is teaching us. And the reversed energies are letting go, gaining hope, and being able to cope in a healthy manner. All right. And so this Pisces stellium, as emotional as it can be, we're being gifted an opportunity as we let certain patterns, emotional patterns end. We're being gifted an opportunity to mentally reframe. And we get to choose that, okay? In our world and in school and education system and religions, what you're told is what to think. That's how this world is set up. And when you get to a certain point in your evolution and you actually embody that you are a creator being and you reclaim your power, you realize that it's all you need to learn is how to think, how to critically think for yourself. But we're taught what to think, not how to think. If we were taught how to think from a young age, which some are lucky enough to have that, but others are just fully being indoctrinated, and you need to think this way. You go along with the status quo, you be an order follower, you do this, this, and this in that order, and that's that. What you're taught what to think, not how to think. And if we were taught how to think and how to critically think and be in alignment, have our thoughts in alignment with how our emotions are indicators to us, with how it's displaying itself in our physical body, if we were taught that, then what would this world look like, right? So many of us as adults were like, okay, I had my window through studying science. And so I had the scientific method. The scientific method, it was a structure of what to do in a certain order, but it also taught me how to think, like how to open up and not jump to a certain possibility. It's the real science, not the scientism that we see today, which is scientism is just inverted science that they say is a certain way, that they spin a certain way so that they can do their narratives. They can enforce their narratives onto humanity and not be questioned. That's what they attempt to do. But a lot of people have seen through that BS. And I feel like those of you are really in tune with this Pisces energy. You've had all these realizations. If you look back to where you were at 2011 and how far you've come, and the awakenings and the realizations, and you've learned how to think and you're critically examining things, that's what this energy is all about. And here's another bonus card that comes out of this particular tarot deck. They're saying it's the number 24 here, and it's a universe card. Infinite growth, evolution, and possibilities. That is what we're trying to open up. Not the de-evolutionary energies that are propagated with the current systems that tell us what to think, what orders to follow. You must do this a certain way. You're supposed to, go to school, and then you go to college, and then you get married, and then you have kid 2.5, whatever the number is now. You have the kids, and then you do this, or your only choices are Republican or Democrat. Your only choices are this or that, with nothing in between, right? Pulling people into the extremes. This card would say no, that's de-evolutionary. That goes against it. And the opposites here are decadence, stagnation, and regress. Decadence. Talk about that. Look at the Federal Reserve, look at the way the money is being handled in the world. The resources are being handled in that decadent way for only those certain people, and everybody else, screw them, right? But that's also a very stagnant place to be on the evolutionary scale. I think it was Navajo Traditional Teachings has a channel here on YouTube. I'm going to plug them too, Navajo Traditional Teachings. And the elder Wally, he was talking about people who get into that mindset of materialism and decadence. Now, it's okay to want fancy things, okay? It's okay to do your makeup for you, to do your nails for you, to wear the jewelry you like to wear. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. Making yourself feel beautiful and pretty or groomed and handsome in the ways that feel good to you, that is not what I'm talking about. But when we get into the area of, materialistic and adding zeros and more, and the current structure of things, he described the people that get sucked into those energies as if they're at a weighing station, a universal weighing station. He explained it like a truck stop, but on a universal scale. Those people that are all into that, like the ones that we see highlighted in the media and the news, TV, these figureheads, right? These puppets, they're all stagnated at this weighing station, this universal cosmic weighing station. They are not evolving. It's not the way the evolution is going to happen. The evolution happens through the internal growth of each individual, the awarenesses that come along with that, and opening up to the possibilities based on the power that we have within as creators. And that is why I call my channel Creators on the Crest, because there are a group of us here on the planet now who are on the crest of the wave. We have the vision, we have the foresight, we know what's going on, but we're still riding this damn wave, okay? Or we're at the peak of the mountain. We can see what's going on, but we still have a rough trail ahead of us to actually get the effects of this worked out. But anytime you feel yourself pulled into, oh, I wish I was a millionaire, I wish I was a billionaire, I wish I had this kind of car, if I had a Tesla, if I had a Porsche, if I had, get into that energy, that is actually a trapped energy, and you will be stalled out at the weighing station, putting too much energy and focus into those energies. And as I'm talking, y'all, outside, nature is growing more and more gloomy. The clouds are coming out, and they've hyped it up in this big storm, which I understand may impact certain areas. But see, this is another, you look for these signals, right? You don't want to be at the way station. You don't want to be in that glum, grim, cloudy energy. You really don't. But the way things are spoken to us, we're meant to think that that's what we should aspire to. Oh, hell no. That is not what we aspire to. We aspire to our connection with the natural prime creator of the universe, with the higher force that ignites our hearts and our passions, and we align that with our actions into the world, step by step. Remember, if you're riding the wave, you're like on a surfboard, you have to stay balanced, right? You're having to navigate this construct, this matrix, and you're knowing that, oh my gosh, we have to break through this because this is not the way. This is not what's evolutionary and best for humanity, right? And so many of you who would tune into this reading are aware of these things. But we're also going to allow ourselves grace. We're also going to allow ourselves the grace of the lotus. We're going to say, well, look how far we've come. Remember the times we were blind. We can have compassion and empathy for the people who have not yet become aware of this, because they were told what to think, not how to think. All right. Very important message there. I do want to close this reading off though now. Whew, powerful. If you tuned into this one, I just want to commend you. I'm getting tingles. I feel like you have grown so much. There's so much growth energy that I feel in you. There's so much evolutionary energy. You have awarenesses that most don't have. And I think it can be really defeating to be out in the world and be so frustrated by people in your family, people in your neighborhood, people in your community, people that you have to work with, having no clue and not seeing, either they're in the weighing station or they're just a walking zombie because they've been told what to think and they're trapped in those. No, but this is what I've been told to think. But is that really how to think? Have you ever allowed yourself to ask questions about that? Censorship, all that kind of stuff, right? De-evolution, yes. There's evolution and de-evolution. Yeah. All right, let's get a final card for this one here. Whoa. Yes. Because why? Because our soul has a natural connection to creation energies, to joy, the dragonfly, the subconscious informing the conscious informing the subconscious. I'm getting that connection there. Joy is an evolutionary, remember, like growth, we have the upward triangles. Fear is the downward triangle. Although I feel bad for the great whites getting a bad rap. I do in Hollywood, right? Okay, but I know they're predators, so we do want to be cautious. But joy and growth, these are evolutionary principles, right? These are the energies that we want to align with. And because we've been programmed deep in our subconscious of what to think, not how to think, we have to transform these energies. This is Pisces. This is Dreamtime energy. This is what Pisces Stelliums are teaching us here, how far we've come. With the conscious mind and the subconscious, this little line here represents that wedge, that consciousness wedge, which the dragonfly here has to break through to continue on the evolutionary, more open path here. And we've got a beautiful flower opening up in so many different directions, being aware of so many different things here. Wow. Oh my goodness, powerful way to close off today. And I'm going to get into the closing musings. So, first of all, I would like to thank, I know Jason and Teresa were here. Thank you so much. I am still growing my little channel here, and your support really means the world to me. And to anyone who is listening on the replay, I know a lot of you are at work, so you're listening to the replay. I want to thank you for being here. Please drop a comment. You won't probably have access to the live chat, but you'll still have comment access. Make sure to like this video. Make sure you give me a comment. I would love to hear about which breakout reading resonated with you the most, or what learnings or opportunities that you really felt like opened up in this. If any of you are struggling, I do in the description have my links to personal readings. So if something really struck you and you're like, gosh, I really feel stuck there, I feel like I'm paused in the weighing station, I don't want to be there, I want to get myself out of it, let's meet up. Let's look into your energies and get you some support and get you some advice and some clarity and some confirmation. And I have links to my personal readings one-on-one below. We'll get on Zoom face to face if you want to, okay? And we'll really work things out. We'll be present with one another, and I will hold that space for you. So you can take an opportunity at that as well below. I also have affiliate links below. I like to be resourceful, so I'm a coupon kind of lady, and a lot of that is moved to digital. So I have a couple links down there for that. I am using currently the Neuracover sauna, home sauna, and that is going quite well. I really like to be in the sauna after a day of a hard workout because it helps with the recovery and everything like that. So if you're a sauna person, check out the affiliate link for that down there. Like I said, make sure you're subscribed to my channel and hit that notification bell so you get all of the good stuff, and you'll get those notifications right away when the readings drop. And we've got timeless readings going out right now for every sign. Cancer and Scorpio are out. Pisces is up next, speaking of Pisces. And other than that, I'm just wishing everyone all of the growth and the evolutionary energies and the adaptations and the ability to overcome and roll with the punches. I think you all are absolutely stellar beings, and I am so grateful to have you in my life. I hope you have a lovely day, evening, weekend, whenever this finds you. Be well, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.